Hi, today we'll be going through how to create white teeth in Photoshop, how to whiten people's teeth. So to start with, just place this image into Photoshop, which the link will be in the description. Chose this image because the smile and the teeth are yellow and the teeth are showing. Okay, so to start with, I'll just zoom in and show you the teeth and the smile. As you can see, it's definitely yellow and needs cleaning. So I'll show you the hue and saturation layer which I've put on to make them look white, which I think looks quite natural here. If you need to, you can always tone that down by changing the opacity of that layer, which is an adjustment layer, turning that down, or going directly into the hue and saturation layer and editing the lightness, which I'll go into later in a minute. Okay, so I'll just turn that back off. So to start with, what we'll do is duplicate the original layer, just so that there's a backup copy of it. Just zoom into the teeth. As you can see, it's a bit pixelated, but that's alright for this project. Choose the pen tool and just cut around the teeth. Normally we might be able to use the magic wand tool, but for this project I realized that any tolerance on there wasn't really working, so we'll just cut around quickly with the pen tool. It doesn't have to be too accurate at all. And just wait for the machine to finish doing that. And then if you need to go in and just edit some points you think need changing around, and then what we can do is just go over to paths, double click on work path and save the path. Just means you won't have to cut it out again. Now go to right click and go down to make selection. We'll leave the feather radius on 2 pixels just so that it blends in a bit around the edges. You can increase that if you think it will help. And now what we want to do is just simply go down to adjustment layers and choose hue and saturation. Now what we can do is as well as using the master setting, we can go to yellows, which is the primary color, and just reduce the saturation of that. What you can do is just reduce saturation right down to around 92, minus 92, so most of the yellow is gone. Because if you actually examine teeth that have been cleaned naturally, they are actually white. So we can also just increase the lightness, and you can see it just gets a bit brighter. Whatever you think is natural looking. So I put that on saturation minus 92 and the lightness on plus 26. And now what we can do is just change over to master and just increase the lightness. You can see immediately the whiteness is increased. And obviously what we need is a balance between looking natural and being white. I think those look quite natural there. You see that is a good technique for just whitening things. So you can also use this technique on eyes too, whitening the whites of eyes. And that's pretty much it. Hue and saturation, adjustment layer, changing the hue, changing the saturation rather, and then changing the lightness. The only thing I would say is just be careful that it doesn't look too white, because it will look unnatural, but this looks fine to my eyes. And we'll just look at the difference between before and can see quite clearly that they're very yellow beforehand here, and then with that layer on, the adjustment, they're nice and white now, and it's been transformed. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you next time.